Recording, yeah? All right, let's do it. What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update. In the absence of Sim, we've got Ash Matic with us. How you doing, Ash?
Yeah, bro, I'm good, man. I'm alive. I'm here, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I think the season ending has given a weight, lifted a bit off our shoulders. So I think we can smile a bit, even though things are still not right there with Tottenham Hotspur. Still got the manager search, the sporting director search, Harry Kane situation. But I think now the season's over, we can just breathe a bit of a sigh of relief, can't we?
Yeah, we can. We can even have a little bit of optimism, during this break.
Let's hope so. And let's talk about the manager situation. Let's talk about Ange Postecoglou. He's the name on everyone's lips at the moment. Dan Kilpatrick says that Tottenham are set to step up their interest in Postecoglou after Saturday's Scottish Cup final. The Australian is said to be impressed. Well, Levy is set to be impressed by the Australian and has an admirer in Scott Munn as well. So what's Levy exactly impressed by in Ange Postecoglou?
Must be the attacking football, because and obviously the manner of which the teams play, because that's the only thing he's got to go on by, really. Obviously, they've won the SPL. He's probably looked at that, looked at the spirit, had the fans singing behind him, in front of him. He had the players together. He looks like a title-winning manager by the looks of it. So maybe he's impressed by that.
Are you impressed by Postecoglou?
If I take away the fact that it's Celtic, obviously it's a lesser league than the Prem. I look at the football and I'm quite excited. Yeah, because it's attacking football, what we want, and it's a style that has similar philosophies towards like what Pep does, and right now that's in. So I'm about what's in trend, what's happening right now. They play at times with a back four, like they do a 4-1-4-1. I'm kind of steering towards a one pivot as opposed to a double pivot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot more attacking, and I don't mind fullbacks inverting some people against it. I know we haven't really got the system for it, but I'm still optimistic about the style of play if I take everything else out of it.
If we do move to like inverted fullbacks, I mean, who in our squad can play there? I mean, no one really, can they?
I think at the moment, the best what we're going to have to do is have one wing back pushing on, and one of our fullbacks, maybe Emerson Royale. He might have to invert, and then maybe the wing back we've got coming in, he's going to have to stay as a wing back. He won't be able to invert as much. So I think it's going to be a few tweaks. We're going to need a player indefinitely, I think. Maybe not, if not this summer, then January or the following summer. I think it's not an easy fix. I think we're going to need a couple windows, whoever is in charge at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. And I think like with Postecoglou, I am quite excited. I think that his man management skills seem to be really top notch. I mean, players seem to buy into what he wants to do. I think that his attacking style really excites me as well, but the defensive side of his game does worry me a little bit with how exposed his teams seem to be defensively. I know he didn't really concede that many goals in the SPL, but still conceded way more goals than probably Celtic should have conceded this year, in my opinion. And his lack of experience in a European top league also worries me. But do you think that there's a trend on social media happening right now, and a few of the big aggregator accounts are trying to start this movement saying #no to Ange? Do you think that's a bit too much right now?
Oh, wow. I think it's he's the one that's left that's going to be more or less attacking. So, I mean, what else have we got left? I think isn't Enrique leaving Napoli?
Yeah.
So, we're running out of options here. So if no to Ange, then yes to who? Do you know what I mean? If Nagelsmann's off the table, and I read something about Dan Kilpatrick saying they're still not looking at him. So if Ange is the only other attacking alternative that we actually are looking at, then I'm not too sure. Like, he scored what? I know it was the SPL, but I think it was 114 goals.
Yeah.
And conceded like around 34 goals. So that's like an 80 goal difference, whereas we scored 17 in Prem and we conceded 63. 7 goal difference.
Yeah.
So do you know what I mean? That goal, if we can bring anything similar to that, I'm not saying 80 goal swing, but just any type of swing, I'm all for it. Do you know what I mean?
Even just a 20-goal swing will do me, to be honest, with the way that we went, to be fair.
Exactly.
But let's move on from Postecoglou. Let's talk about the goalkeeping situation at the moment. Dan Kilpatrick again saying David Raya, Jordan Pickford, Robert Sanchez, Edouard Mendy and Gigi Mamashvili are the goalkeepers Tottenham are tracking this summer to replace Hugo Lloris. And there's also been a quote from David Raya's agent brought to us from Fabrizio Romano, and it says, if Brentford does not lower the price tag of David Raya this summer, he'll be ready to leave as a free agent in 1 year's time. So Brentford value the goalkeeper currently at 40 million. So after those words, do you think the price will come down a little bit?
I hope so, because that will trigger, you know what, you know who to go and buy it, do the deal. So I'm hopeful. I really like David Raya. I like his distribution, especially. I think he's not bad. Like doing his job as a keeper, he can actually save as well. So I don't want to discredit him as an actual goalkeeper. But I think for what we need and for what like the style of managers that are coming in, they kind of like sweeper keepers. And that's basically in trend right now. Sweeper keepers, keepers that can play out from the back, can play with feet, can distribute, can switch to play. And Raya's my guy. But I'm not mad at Sanchez from Brighton. Like, I was surprised that they dropped him from their first team. I kind of liked him. But
you know what it is? You know what it is with the keeper that they brought in, Steele? I think that Steele is actually elite on the ball. He is unbelievable on the ball, that Steele, isn't he?
He's the next level up. He's the next level up. But I don't think Sanchez was too bad either at the back. But yeah, I think Steele's another level up.
Just on the ball, though. I think as a goalkeeper, you're probably saying Sanchez is a probably better out-and-out goalkeeper. But I think Steele just on the ball is just top-notch. But what do you reckon about the other ones? Pickford, Mendy, Mamashvili?
Pickford's small goalkeeper. Talks a lot. Talks big saves. Good as a keeper, like as in terms of getting down, reaction saves, spectacular saves. He's good at that.
T-Rex, with the tiny arms.
Yeah, T-Rex with the arms. But I'm not a fan of. I don't want Pickford. If I'm being honest.
Me neither.
I'm not a fan at all. I know he plays like for England and that, but yeah, apart from
But he
that,
shouldn't really, should he?
Yeah, I don't think. I'm surprised he gets in. It's just like, how does Eric Dyer get into the England squads? Like, it's one of those Maguire ones. It's like one of those question marks. But
100%.
Southgate at the helm. That's what you're getting. But Mendy, up and down, but not a bad option. Not a bad option. I know you got dropped as well at some point for Chelsea. Chelsea want to recruit a different keeper, but yeah, I'm not entirely against Mendy either.
That's the thing. Is that where we're at the moment? We're just going for keepers that have been dropped from teams around us, Chelsea, who are below us, and Brighton, who finished above us this season. I mean, surely David Raya has got to be our man.
This is it. That's why I said David Raya is number one. He's Spanish international, and he just ticks all the boxes for me. So I would go for him.
You know, it's not even that he's a Spanish international. Actually, if he comes into the squad, he'll take up one of the English quota. So I think that's a massive plus for us as well because of the struggles that we had over the past year or so.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Let's talk about Harry Kane now. A few conflicting reports coming out about Harry Kane today. Tom Barkley saying that Harry Kane wants a move to Manchester United or he'll run down his deal at Tottenham if they refuse to sell. Dario AS, which is a Real Madrid publication, says that Tottenham won 115 million euros for Harry Kane. Spurs would rather sell the striker abroad to another rather than another Premier League club. Real Madrid will sign a striker, but Kane is Ancelotti's number one target. And Dan Kilpatrick says that Tottenham will rebuff any approach from Manchester United for Harry Kane this summer, despite the England captain entering his final year of his contract. Spurs are adamant that Kane will not be sold to a Premier League rival under any circumstances and would rather risk him walking away on a free in a year's time.
Yeah, it's a hard one because obviously Benzema's been talking about, the Saudi Arabia links moving away from Real Madrid. So they do need a centre forwards. And obviously Ancelotti's seen Kane firsthand. I mean, who hasn't seen Kane, to be fair? But obviously Ancelotti was in the Prem, so he knows a bit more about him. The thing is as well, in the past, Levy has been quite tough on that transfer business. I know Berbatov went to Man United, Carrick went to Man U.
A while ago now, though.
I think of late, he doesn't like to sell to a rival, and I think he sees Manchester United as a top rival. I think on Kane's part, I think Kane would want to make the move. If I think because if United sign someone now, then that's it for him really. Where else can he go apart from Newcastle maybe or Chelsea? I can't really see him making a move anywhere else. So I think now's the time. If Kane wants to make a move, Kane should make that move this summer. Would I want him to move this summer? Of course not. But I just think Madrid coming in for him, that could possibly make the move. I know people say, "Oh, no, his kids, he doesn't want to move. He wants to break the Premier League record." But if he went to Madrid, he could still come back. He's like 30, isn't he? He can still
Yeah.
come back in 3 or 4 years' time, be 34, and still break the Premier League records, technically. So,
Yeah, I just don't know about that. I mean, what you're saying before about, this summer is his time to move, I kind of disagree because I think even if Manchester United buy a striker this summer, like, nobody's going to pass up on the opportunity to get Harry Kane in on free transfer, whether you sign that striker or not. So I think obviously having two strikers, maybe you could change your system. You can drop Kane into the number 10. I think there are plenty of things you can do with a Harry Kane. And I think you don't pass up that opportunity to get someone like a Harry Kane in for a free transfer, surely.
yeah, it's that. But I also consider, what does Kane want? It'll be interesting because I think from January, February, March, April, etc., we were having those talks with Kane and nothing came out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No deal was signed. So it'll be interesting to hear what he thinks about it. He was talking about, not turning your nose up at Conference League. No, we don't have Europe at all. So, it'll be interesting to see where his head's at, if he's thinking now's the time to make the move. Because if he wants to make the move to Manchester, then it's a whole different conversation. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
obviously, Levy can dig his heels in because it's his player. So
Yeah.
he's under contract.
In my opinion, I think, we heard David Ornstein say, it's not the same situation now as it was a couple years ago when he wanted that move to Man City, because when he wanted that move to Man City, he knew he was locked into this contract for ages and it's going to take a massive bid to get him out of the club. That bid never came in. Now, he holds all the cards, man. He's only got a year left in his contract. So if he just hangs about for one more year, he literally has the pick of anywhere he wants to go. Literally. So I think Harry Kane's calm about the situation, to be fair. And I don't think he minds sticking around for one more year if he knows at the end of that year, he literally can do anything he wants.
Yeah, it's true. That's a good point. Yeah.
So that's the Harry Kane situation. Let's talk about Richarlison now. Real Madrid publication or Real Madrid journalist is saying that Tottenham forward Richarlison is another option for Real Madrid because Ancelotti likes him. What do you think about Richarlison this summer? Obviously a terrible season. Would you accept, say, money back if Richarlison was to go this summer?
Yeah, I would. I definitely would. 60 million, what, for Richie? Yeah, I'll take it. Why not? And then we could use that money for another centre forward or wing forward or even the defender that we need. We can prioritise in other areas because I didn't think that was the priority at the time. And we went for him. Obviously, it was an opportunity that was taken up. And I think that's the reason why we got him in. But I think that money could be spent better, especially in this window, especially for what we need. So, I would take it up. I definitely would take it up. Richarlison going to Madrid.
Yeah, would you accept, maybe selling Richarlison for a 60 million or 50, 60 million to Real Madrid, bringing in, let's say, for argument's sake, a Manor Solomon on a free transfer to cover the bench on the left-hand side and then spend that 60 million on a top centre-back?
Yeah, that makes sense. Complete sense for me. I know people argue and say that Rich didn't really have his chance, but he played quite a few games, 32, 35 games. I know he didn't start all of them, and I know he was coming off the back of an injury and a World Cup. But I think Danjuma was given less of a chance, and he's not signing on at all.
Yeah.
So what much difference has Richarlison done compared to Danjuma? So that same type of token, I would use that 60 million to get a top centre back.
But we have seen players turn it around in the past. I mean, Emerson Royale, we've seen turn it around. Moussa Sissoko, you know, players like this. Heung-min Son, even in his first season, was, you know, people were saying, sell him at the end of his first season. So do you not think that maybe we should just bide our time with Richarlison a bit?
I don't know, because even Son, he scored like 10, was it 10 or 4 goals? I forgot now.
I'll check it up, but
he scored about 10 goals, I think, in his first season. But yeah, that's still more than even if it was 4 goals, it was still more than Richarlison. Do you know
but
what
he
I mean?
was in a much more functional team, Sonny, when he first came in.
Yeah, that is to be considered.
It was 4 goals. 4 goals.
4 goals. So it was 4 goals. Yeah, I was right. 4 goals, not 10. So 4 goals he scored, still more than Richarlison.
Not that many more though.
Still, yeah, not that many. But I just feel like if Richarlison, people say he's been played out of position. You know, his position is centre forward. I did see him played as a left wing forward for Everton for quite a bit, and he did get that opportunity to play left wing forward for us, and didn't show that much apart from dropping over, winning fouls, and defending a lot for us. Like with the ball, he wasn't that much of a threat, in my opinion. So yeah, I just expected a lot more. I'm not saying like 10 goals, but you know. 4. I mean, how many did he get? 2, 3 goals?
2, I think.
Yeah.
He got more bookings than goals for taking off his shirt and celebrating.
You can't make this up, can you? If he got like 5 or 6, I would have said maybe. But yeah, it's 2 goals. That's really poor.
Yeah. And to be honest, both of those goals that he did score, he was like on the cusp of being offside as well.
Yeah, he's an offside merchant.
Yeah, he really is.
He hasn't got that football brain.
No, well, we'll have to. I don't get it because they love him in Brazil. He's literally Brazil's R9, and like he gets ahead of Gabriel Jesus every single time. So what are they seeing in Brazil that we're not seeing here?
I think obviously they have a lot more of the ball. I think they're a lot higher up the pitch, and the quality around them is far greater. So it's like, I mean, if we improve the quality around him, keep him. But if we don't, then sell him.
Fair enough. Let's talk about Pape Matar Sarr now. Journalist Santi Aouna saying that Pape Matar Sarr is really appreciated by Marseille. Other Premier League clubs are also interested. Everything remains open as he wants to play more next year, but he does also want to remain in England. Surely we got to keep Pape Matar Sarr, and this is only a loan.
Yeah, Sarr's got to stay. Apparently, Sarr wants to stay as well. I was reading. He wants to stay in England despite having his lack of game time. I think Sarr stays, goes on loan. If he was to go on loan, I mean, I wouldn't want him to go on loan. I want him to start because I think he needs more of an opportunity. The glimpses he's had, I just want to see him in an attacking team, see what he looks like. I think out of the double pivots, he's probably the most box to box. He likes to open his legs up, get forward, runs with the ball, and sometimes he gets a shot at the end of it. So I want to see a bit more. So I like the way he switches play as well. Kind of links up play. He's a good lad. He's young as well. So just needs a chance.
If I was to say to you, we have to loan out one of these players, which one are you loaning, Skip or Sarr?
I'd say Skip. I want to see Sarr.
Yeah.
I want to see Sarr. I want to see him. That's me.
I agree. I think I agree with you. I mean, to be honest, I really was on the Skip bandwagon, but this second half of the season has really worried me with Ollie Skip. I think he's been really bad these last 3-4 months.
The thing with Skip is I know what he can do defensively, but I'm not sure what he can do
going forward. Yeah,
going forward. I want to see a little bit more from him. And I don't want him to not fulfill that potential. So I would rather him go out and loan to a team where he can show a bit more of that. And then make an assessment of him. Do you know what I mean? When he comes back from his loan. But I need to see more in an offensive output from Skip. I mean, I know he scored that banger against Chelsea, but I just don't see him, taking the game by the scruff of the neck enough. I know he hasn't got the best around him, but yeah, just need to see more, in my opinion.
Yeah. Next up, Danjuma, as you touched on before. Dan Kilpatrick says that Tottenham have turned down the option of making Danjuma permanent for £27 million. And he's set to make a return to Villarreal. Romano just confirms that, saying Tottenham will not trigger the buyback clause for Danjuma and he'll formally return to Villarreal. But he is expected to leave the club again and has been approached by Premier League, Bundesliga and Liga 1 clubs over a possible move. I mean, would you have liked to see Danjuma stay?
It's a hard one, isn't it? He didn't get a lot of chances. The one start he got, they played him out of position.
Yeah.
But I understood why they played him out there. And I thought in that start, I know he didn't do a lot. He got like a header, which I reckon he should have hit on target. But the fact that he was getting into that area, for me, was promising because not a lot of wing forwards end up in that 6-yard box area. And every time he did come on the pitch before that, he was really front-footed. He was energetic. He had something about him. He actually got up the pitch. And I think it was his runs, and people say, oh, he's just doing a run, so what? That run he would make, against Bournemouth, he would make a run that would take a defender away. When he played against Brentford, he made a run. It opened up spaces for Kulusevski to get on the ball and make things happen. So I don't say, what has he done? He's not doing much. I think his sheer presence and his energy alone was asking questions, but I do admit that he should have done a little bit more, showed a bit more end product when he was on the pitch. When he did start in that game, he did let me down a little bit. So with that being said, I'm not mad that we're not taking up the option to see Danjuma, if I'm being honest. But I'm very interested to see who we bring in if we're not going to take up the option. Are we going to bring in someone with a bit more quality than him? So yeah, that's my question.
You know how this could see this potentially playing out. Like, obviously they're holding out for 27 million. I know that Spurs were trying to lowball Villarreal and trying to get it down and trying to get a cheaper one, maybe for like 15 million or so. But if no one does come in and offer that 27 million, maybe we might re-enter him later on in the market for getting a more of a cut price deal for like maybe a 15 million, 17 million. Would you be happy with that?
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on the manager and what style of play we're having. So
True.
if we've got like an attacking manager or possession-based manager, then like I would like to see him deployed in the right position, either as a winger or behind the striker, because that's where he can play. He can play behind the striker, second striker. And I look at his attributes and I think coming off the bench or starting some games, it might work. It can work. Because he's not, for me, he's not a bad player. People are like looking at him like he's terrible, and like from what I've seen him on the ball, he's actually not bad. But
he's shown more than Richarlison for us.
Say it again.
He's shown more than Richarlison.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. This is my point. And Richarlison's been given more of a chance.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I look at it, in my opinion.
All right. Let's move on. Last but not least, let's talk about Ryan Sessegnon, the forgotten man at Tottenham. He's always injured. We never get to see him. And when he does play, he's getting sent off against FC Mura or something like that. But Dan Kilpatrick says that Ryan Sessegnon may also be up for sale following another injury hit season. And I mean, it's time to cut our losses on this guy, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. He just doesn't. It's just not on the pitch. It's just more on the surgery room, surgery table than he is on the grass. So for me, he's got to go. Such a shame. I had so much high hopes when we did sign him because I saw what he was doing at Fulham, but I guess we got him at the wrong time. Maybe he wasn't right for us at the time when we bought him. He needed another season in the Premiership before he made that jump. I don't know if his hamstrings are strong enough. He just keeps breaking down. Down, and when you get that type of injury, a big part of his game was his pace. And when he was at Tottenham, he didn't have that same blistering pace for me. He wasn't that as aggressive as he was at Fulham. At Fulham, he was next level. He was like a winger, and at Spurs, he just anything but.
Yeah, and look, at the end of the day, he's been here for 3 seasons now. First season, 6 Premier League appearances. Second season, 15. Third season, which was last year. Well, this year, 17. So, like, how long are we supposed to like just keep trying with this guy? I mean, I think it's time to cut our losses. Even at a loan spell at Hoffenheim, he didn't really pull up any trees. And the last time really in his career when he's had a good season was probably for Fulham in the Championship, because even when Fulham got promoted in the Premier League, he weren't that great.
No, he wasn't. The one highlight I remember was when he scored against Bayern Munich when we lost like 7-2.
It was actually in the away leg. I think we lost 3-1 or something.
Is that when he scored?
Yeah, I was there in Munich, and it was actually a really nice goal.
Yeah, it was a nice goal. That was the game I was thinking of. Yeah, and he's come on and he scored. That's my last memory of him doing something like, yeah, and I thought, oh, we got a player in there. Apart from that, maybe I'll start the season. We started off well against Southampton. Fulham, I'm clutching at straws now.
Proper.
But yeah, apart from that, yeah, it's been a wrap. It's been abysmal, man. Have not seen him.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's our Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all the topics that we've spoken about today. Ash, what's going on the channel this week? Any new vids coming?
Yeah. So I've done a video. We're gonna probably push it out over the weekend. Just more of the same. I'm just gonna analyze a few players. Solomon being one. Gonna see what he's about. And yeah, just any more updates on any managers or directors of football. As soon as anything updates, we're going to be on it.
How many videos did you have on Arnie's slot that you didn't release?
at least one. At least one. I've still got it here. I look at it every day. I'm like,
Big up, Ash. Thanks for coming on today, my friend. And we'll speak to you next time. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.